knock Mark over in the process. Hi everyone. Brendan, thanks very much for allowing me to spend, 60 seconds? For 60 seconds?
5 minutes you got.
I know what I can do for
You had
that.
60 seconds last month.
Yeah, I know, last month. Last year I did profit. I was really good at that. I thought it was okay. I'm going to put a disclaimer out. I started life as an accountant. So coming up here and talking about sales is quite foreign. But fortunately, I've spent the last 30 years talking to sales teams and sales people and occasionally making a sale or two during the process. So I've got two small tips, and whilst I'm not going to talking about sales, I'm actually going to talk about customer service, because we tend to forget about customer service when it generates sales. Customer service is the bread and butter in regard to generating sales. Sales comes through sales teams, might come from your website, comes through inquiries, through lead generation, but the repeat business, the business that you want on a regular basis, comes from those customers who've already had your experience in your service and have been wowed. And when they've been wowed, they'll come back. So you might be thinking about, hang on, he's talking about customer service, not sales, but customer service is part of your sales process. So if you've got a really good customer service in your business, it generates sales and it generates repeat sales. And the other thing it also does is generates referrals, because who here, when they want to get a plumber or needs an accountant or a lawyer or an engineer or an IT specialist, what do you tend to do? Ask a friend. Who do you know? You might ask another business colleague in another company, hey, who do you know in the IT space that's really good? Or who's a good plumber that's really good? Because I've got a problem, and they'll refer you. So that customer service piece is really important. So if your customer service is that top notch, it'll come back. Now, we're all human, and part of customer service is sometimes we do fall over and make mistakes. And we see that when you see that on your websites, you see the Google reviews, and sometimes you go on there and go, oh, they've got 2 stars, I'm not going there. But we do make mistakes. All businesses here make mistakes, but it's how we treat those mistakes and how we deal with them very quickly. So if you're efficient in regard to service, sorting out that problem, you've probably got that client even more as a loyal customer, because they know, yes, they've made a mistake, but they've fixed it up really well. So that's my first tip. Customer service is really important to generate that repeat business. How many people here have staff? Good. A few people have staff. There's a lot of independents here. A lot of times people in larger or medium-sized organisations or even small organisations only think about their salespeople or the people that generate sales. And you may interact with lots of companies or may deal with lots of people that who have salespeople. But they're missing a vital component in that team. Those teams have operational staff. They also have administration staff. And sometimes we tend to forget there's an opportunity there, because those people there, whilst they're not directly there to generate sales, they can actually talk about your business. So they're great leaders in their own right. So operational staff probably have more of a relationship with their clients than the managers and the owners do. And they've got 2 sets of ears and a set of eyes. And if you can train those guys in regard to how to keeping an eye out for leads and referrals, finding out what's going on in those business, that information can come back. And I'll give you a classic example of that. I used to work for a pest control company, and we decided to incentivise our operational staff with a small commission, 5%. If you generated some leads, we'll give you 5% of whatever we sold. And all of a sudden, our pest control guys were coming back with all these amazing leads of information, like they're opening a next door. There's a building next door that they're opening. The manager here knows who's going in next door. They've got an office down the road. The bird work. We, in that period of time, I think we ran that period for about 3 months to start with, our sales leads increased by about 30%, purely from having operational people, non-sales people generating those sales. So if you do have staff and colleagues, whether operational or administration staff have talked to their own lawyers, their accountants, their hairdressers, their mechanics. If they're out there talking about who they work for, it's a great source of information. So they're my 2 tips. Customer service is really important. It generates a lot of repeat business, and your staff Don't think just because they're not in sales they can't sell for you. Thank you very much.